I switched it up a little bit, and I've got a nice light here, so I think it like looks a bit nicer as well. And my angle is a lot better. I'm not like looking at my chins. Still there, you just can't really see them as much. So we need to talk about this film. This film is, it kind of happened out of nowhere really. One day we got an announcement, then we got the announcement that I started filming, then we got, like a few weeks after that, we got an announcement that it's done, then we got a trailer a few weeks after that, and we found out that it was coming out in a few months when we got the trailer. So this all happened, like probably, I don't know, at the beginning of this year, and we've got it now already within this, but not even a year. Like, this film was made very quickly, and you can tell that, which I'll talk about in a minute. Now, I was really excited to see this film because not only is it a musical that I really love, it's got an actor in it that I really loved, and I don't think many people felt the same way about this film that I did. I was really looking forward to it, but that wasn't until we got the trailer. I had a different view on things when we got the trailer, which I'll talk about in a minute. And this film, there's a lot of controversy surrounding the main actor and his age. And now, yeah, people were not happy when he was announced to be cast, and there was a lot of discussion about it. And when we got the trailer, we found out what they had like done to this actor's face, and they made him look really silly. They really did. We'll talk about that in a second. Well, later on in the review, really, because I've got a lot to say. So first things first, we need to say what the film is. You know, we can tell by the title, but the Dear Evan Hansen, which is probably one of the most talked about movie musicals of the year. This actor, which I'll talk about in a minute, who's played Evan, he played him on Broadway, so everyone knows him knows quite a bit about him. There's obviously not like West End and Broadway kind of have their own communities, and it's not really like film because there's so many film actors. Some that everyone's heard of, some like barely anyone's heard of. There are so many film actors. Whereas West End and Broadway, there's obviously ensemble and people like working behind the scenes, but there's a lot of a smaller group of like actors and stuff. So yeah, a lot of people in the musical theatre community, you know, did not like the idea of this film, did not like the idea the film was being made, well, at least with this actor in it. Now, this actor is an incredible singer and an incredible like actor, but in this film, he's too old to play the role that he played. And I'll go on to that when I talk about the cast. So Dear Evan Hansen is the story of a guy called Evan Hansen who has social anxiety, and he writes these letters to himself every day. So he has a broken arm, and this guy called Connor, who goes to his school, offered to sign his cast. But whilst he's signing his cast, he takes one of his letters off him, and he kind of runs off with it. Anyway, that night, Connor takes his life, and he has one of Evan's letters with him, and everyone thinks that this is Connor's suicide note, and it is like addressed to Evan because Evan was his best friend. So Evan kind of goes along with it, and it's all about the problems with that, and him claiming to be Connor's friend when he's not. A lot of people have been saying this, is that it's offensive. Now, I don't see why people that are saying this are fans of the stage show, and I don't understand, because the stage show and the film have the same plot, and I don't even think there were any changes to this to the plot in this film. It was the exact same plot, exact same concept, and there were a few changes to like things that, you know, like characters. Jared, who is Evan's kind of friend, but they're not really friends, and like family friends, and so Jared is gay, and in the film, but he wasn't in the stage show. So there's just little things like that that they changed, but overall they didn't change a lot. So yeah, I don't know, some people are saying how the film is offensive, but the stage show isn't. The stage show helped so many people, mainly due to one of the songs in the show called "You Will Be Found," which I'm sure you've all heard. It's quite a popular musical theatre song. It's, you know, it's been floating around the internet, and yeah, it's helped a lot of people. So I don't understand how this film is offensive. Didn't think any of the acting in this film looked like they were mocking anything, especially Ben Platt, who played Evan. He did not look like he was mocking people with social anxiety or anything like that. And he'd played the role on Broadway, so he'd had experience with it and he knows what people want from Evan. And, you know, I think he really did deliver that in this film, acting and singing wise. We'll talk about like how he looked and his age and all that. But even his age was not like offensive. Like, it's just they casted him because it's kind of like stunt casting in a way. Not really, it's kind of like minor stunt casting. It's not like they cast James Corden as Evan Hansen, which I'm surprised they didn't do. So yeah, that I don't see how it's offensive. I can't get my head around that. I can't get my head around people don't like the whole idea of him being old and all that. He's not old, but he's older than the character Evan, and it doesn't look right, which we'll talk about shortly. What I don't like about this film is I feel like this film just doesn't need a cinema release. It's not cinematic one bit. It felt like a TV movie all the way through it. Yeah, I don't really understand why this film was like a cinema release. I think this should, I feel like this film should be an Amazon Prime or another streaming platform out there. It doesn't need, you know, it wasn't cinematic. Like In the Heights was very cinematic and they went all out with the musical numbers and the sound was very good in the film. So I can see why that film was cinematic, and that film needs to be seen on a big screen. In the Heights, I have got the Blu-ray, but I don't really think that it's a film that I'm gonna have the same experience with again. This, I'm gonna watch it more than once, of course I am, because I actually quite enjoyed it, but it's not cinematic and it felt like a TV movie. My problem with Jamie, I'll say this about everybody's talking about Jamie as well, I'm kind of glad this had Amazon Prime release because that's kind of the place for it. It wouldn't have felt right, it would have felt very out of place in cinemas. And this film does, it doesn't feel like it needs to be in cinemas. And very few cinemas are actually showing this. It's not a big budget film and it's not really a big release as well. So a lot of cinemas aren't really showing this. Because I just don't really see a problem with that. Yes, I don't really get, you know, so yeah, it's very low budget. And as I said, you can tell that this film was created very quickly. Yeah, it was made very quickly and we got it very quickly. Like in literally a few months we had the film. Yeah, it happened too quickly. I don't really think a lot of like thought went into it. I think they kind of just thought, oh, the fans want this, so let's make it. And I think just made it and got a release date and there you go. I think they didn't think there was a lot of thought went into the whole process. Like West Side Story and In the Heights, they weren't made so quickly. Yeah, but this was just, it was very rushed. It's a very rushed film. I would have rather waited like over a year and have a really good movie musical than, you know, wait like a few months and have this really not so great film. But anyway, so I think I need to talk about this whole age thing, but first let's talk about the rest of the cast. So we did have Ben Platt. We'll talk about him as Evan in a minute. We did have Amy Adams, who was exceptional in this film. She carried the character so well throughout the whole movie, and you really felt for her as, you know, she's playing a mum, and she's great in the film. And also Nick Dodani as well as Jared was incredible. Loved him. He played a similar role to this, what he played in this film, in the Netflix series Atypical, which is a great series. I think he's a really good actor and he's great in Atypical as well. Said Jared is gay in the film version, which is great representation for everyone in the LGBTQ plus community. And there's also like little things dotted around in the background. There's things for like equality and there's like Black Lives Matter stuff, and there's all like around the school, which I think is great representation, and I can tell that's something they worked really hard on, and I think that's good that they've done that. So yes, I like that. Ben Platt, okay, so his acting in this film was amazing and his singing was amazing. I think he did all singing live on set, I heard, but he was amazing on the singing side of things. I didn't find a single problem with his acting or his singing. Acting in this film was brilliant. You felt for all the characters, and you know everything they went through, you kind of felt the same emotion as them throughout this film, which is very important in any film, that you feel for these characters, because if you don't feel for these characters, and the actors are quite honestly crap. But there's none of that in this film. They're all brilliant. They all carry the characters so well through the whole film. There's never a moment where something is like badly done, badly acted by these actors. But there is a problem with Ben Platt's age. So yeah, as I said, he's got great acting and singing, but he looked really weird. Now he is old. I think he's like 28, and Evan is obviously not 28 because he wouldn't be in school if he was 28. And they've obviously cast him because, as I said, it's kind of minor stunt casting. He's a very popular musical theatre performer, and they know that the people going to see this film will mainly be musical theatre lovers. So they've kind of thought, oh, he's popular, let's put him in the film. So they did that. Then the makeup department did some weird stuff to his face, and then they put CGI on him to make him look younger, and that's where he looks like a bit like a hamster. He looks very weird in this film, and yeah, that's like my only problem with this film. He looks odd, and yeah, I don't quite understand why he looks like that. And I can't get my head around the curly hair. I don't know why he has curly hair. He doesn't need curly hair, but he's got curly hair. Very, very curly hair. I don't know why they gave him such curly hair in this film. But Sam Tutti, whatever his name is, the one that plays him on the West End now, hasn't got a single curl in his hair. So yeah, that's enough rambling about his curly hair. But yeah, so he's not awful. He's not awful. So yeah, he just looks strange. But as I said, there was nothing wrong with his acting. There was nothing wrong with acting in this film. Everyone acted and sung amazingly well. There wasn't any of that stupid casting celebrities in the roles because they're famous rubbish, you know, when they can't sing like they did in Cats. It's very... I'd like to say that the casting is good, but someone who's too old to play the role when they could have just got someone younger who could have been just as good as Ben Platt, maybe even better, who knows, in the role. They didn't do that. They just got someone popular and made them look stupid. I think, you know, Ben Platt's not going to really like the reaction to him looking like a hamster, but there you go. But so there was no problem with this acting, and I really did enjoy the film. I didn't find it was boring. I thought it was highly entertaining. And I miss some of the songs that they cut out, like Anybody Have a Map is a brilliant song. You know, they've obviously wanted to do representation, because a lot of people, you know, we want that in films nowadays, and it's great that films are, you know, starting to do more things like that. So they've obviously done that. That's obviously been a big thing for them, but they just didn't really put a lot of thought into casting. That's just my issue with the film. But I didn't think it was bad. I was entertained, and I don't know why everybody's slating it so much, because I've seen worse films. Cats. So yes, it's really weird. The audience here, like people here, like here in the UK, are enjoying it a lot more than people did in America. Now critics, I think the critics were very wrong about the film. They exaggerated it so much. And yes, so that's just my little review for Dear Evan Hansen, starring Ben Platypus. So that's all my thoughts on everything that I think I needed to get out there because I've had thoughts on it for a while, but I was waiting for the film to come out to like make a video on it and all that. So we've done it. We've got to the end. I'm going to start to just do standalone reviews and the occasional vlog, or maybe sometimes like clips of me at the cinema before each review, because I'm finding that like going in and getting my ticket and looking at all the posters, like I love that. When you're so focused on filming it and filming your trip, it can ruin it. So I'm trying to only do vlogs for big-ish films. I am doing a vlog and review for tomorrow's cinema trip, but yeah, not apart from that, I'm going to start to try and do more standalone reviews, because I feel like this is probably more interesting than me sat in a cinema going, I'm in my seat, and then, 5 minutes of that before I actually get to the bit that you all care about. So, yeah, I'm going to stop, try and die down on vlogs, sorry. Obviously, I'm still going to review films. So, yes, that is my probably very long review for Dear Evan Hansen. It's not a bad film. I saw it yesterday and I really did not find it bad. I really was, I was highly entertained, and there's not a lot wrong with this film apart from Ben Platt's age, and I shouldn't say this, but the budget is really low. And just the fact that there's not a lot of cinemas are showing it says a lot. But yeah, thank you so much for watching my review, and I'll see you all in the next one.